Welcome everybody to another Just Blazor tutorial. Today we are going to learn about JS Interops. Now, a JS Interop is how Blazor interacts with, you guessed it, JavaScript. Yes, I know, we all thought that if we learn Blazor we won't have to deal with JavaScript ever again, but that is not the case. The good news is that Blazor has a way of interacting with JavaScript functions and libraries so that you do not have to write a lick of JavaScript. So if you're not that good with JavaScript or you just hate it, you don't have to worry. And you still get all the benefits of not losing out on the JavaScript libraries that exist in the world. Remember, JavaScript has a monopoly on front-end frameworks and all that good stuff. So you don't want to lose all that. And Blazor provides a way to give you access to it while at the same time not having to learn JavaScript. Isn't that great? Well, we're going to learn how to implement JS Interops in our project, and then that'll be the end of this series. Fantastic. Let's get started. Welcome back, everybody. We are going to get started on our JS Interop project. In case you're wondering, my last project was the one about components and building the troll tool. And if you're curious about that, please go to the link above and check it out. Only after this, though. So in this case, what we want to do is get into the nav menu. We're going to create a brand new tab for our page. So just, get whatever tab is up here. As always, you do not need to do any of my tutorials in order to, do this one. They're all modular in nature. So we're going to create a new tab by copying this one, the nav link to. We're going to rename it. We're going to call it JS Interop Basic. Same thing here. JS Interop Basic, all lowercase. Copy that because we're going to build the page now. The page, add component. Make it easy peasy. JS Basic. So we now have a page, and we want the route to hit this page, right? So please put the page top, and you want to put the route here. String / JS Interop Basic, and you're good to go with that. So my idea for this project is to show you how to interact with JavaScript, so we don't really need anything too complicated. We're just going to be focusing on the alert. The alert is basically, if you've done JavaScript before or you ever used it before, the alert is just the thing that pops up on a browser because you've implemented the predefined function that basically any JavaScript library brings by default. So that's what we're going to do today. And we're going to trigger it right now through C#. So first, we're going to make a div, and we're going to make the button. The reason why I want you to do this is because we'll make a few buttons so I could demonstrate a few different ways of triggering the JavaScript. So in this case, button, give it a class of button primary. This will be test 1. And right now, for now, that's all you're gonna need. We're gonna build this is gonna trigger a function. So we're gonna build that now. Well, that function is gonna be the alert box function. So I want a message to come out with it as well. And I'm just gonna write a string for it. Get set. You write whatever you want. All right, click. Boom. Now we're gonna do the function. Now here is where you're gonna see the JS Interop happen. I'm writing a task function because you're gonna create an async in order to trigger it. It's an asynchronous call when you do something through JavaScript. So in order to do this, you need to inject something called the JS Runtime. So in order to do that, go up here where it says the app page. Under it, at inject. It does that for you. JS Runtime. And this will allow you to basically use the functions that Blazor brings because it has a JavaScript file in it. So also you have to give this a name. So call it JS. See if you're good with that. So I'm going to show you something real quick before I continue here. If we go to the host here, You see this script file here that has the JS in there? That's where all our JS is in right now. So in case you're wondering how we're implementing, JavaScript within Blazor, or at least the predefined JavaScript functions, that's why. If you want anything fancier, you need one specific thing, you're going to have to import the libraries, which I'll show you now a little bit later. But for now, let's talk about this alert box. How do I trigger this alert box through JavaScript? Well, you have your JS run. You have injected this interrupt. Wait, JS run.invoke async. If this brings back a bool. Alert has like an OK or something. And then we're gonna confirm it. Not gonna use the like just. So let me explain what's happening here. If you look at the invoke async, there's gonna be two different parameters. One is the actual function of the JS that you're gonna trigger, and the other one is the parameter that you want to add into it. So there could be many parameters, or there could just be one. In this case, it's just one. So what we're gonna do is just invoke the JS alert, the natural JS alert that you would normally see, even if you trigger through jQuery or whatever. And I'll show you what I mean. Oh, and also we gotta data bind the function to the button, or else it's not gonna do nothing. Click at shorthand of. That should be fine. Oh, I see. Can't. I'll show you how to get around that later, but yeah, it can't do that. This is gonna be that problem you saw. There's gonna be a problem that's gonna come up later when I show you something else. So I'll show you a way around it. That troll. So we have our JS Basic and we have our little button here. So this button is gonna trigger a JavaScript call, and we haven't wrote a single thing of JavaScript. Boom, clicked. Ain't that crazy? That's it. That's the JS interop right there. Doing that and this. But wait, there is more. You think I'm going to leave you with just this? Technically, this is all you really need to know in order to run JavaScript. But I'm going to give you a real world example of how to import like a library that's freely available. Put it in your project and then invoke it through this. And then I'll show you a way to make that process easier so that you can use the functions of that library, much better and more consistently. Oh, that I picked out this. I was Googling, good alert functions because I didn't want anything too complicated. And this is the first thing that popped up, Alertify.Js. So all this does is when you click it, you get a different alert essentially. So boom, get that. So normally you would have to import the library. We're going to do now. And then you're going to have to implement JS like this to make it happen. But you don't have to do that with Blazor. So the first thing we're going to do is import it. Go to where it says getting started. And you're going to want these things. Where it says JavaScript and all the CS files and all the styles and whatever, the style sheets. You need all that. Copy that. Go to your project. And we're going to go to, not here, here. Underscore host.chhtml. I remember that before Blazor used to have this somewhere else, but now it's here where you're going to put all your scripts and CSS links. So in this case, the only thing you want here in the body is the script, which is up here. So I just copy paste everything, put it here. So you're going to take all of this except the script. Cut. Go up here to head. Down here. Put all that here. Now this uses Bootstrap, and we already have Bootstrap in our product, so you could get rid of the one that it brings. That because it's up here. Got it. That's it. This is how you would import the project CDN. You could try doing it manually by having, importing it through. You could download it and put it in your project, in your way, but this is much easier and it would accomplish the same thing. So once you're done with that, we're gonna go back to our component here. And now we're gonna create the Alertify box. So before we do all that, let's make a new button just for that. Obviously the function does not exist. We're gonna build it. Copy this function here and rename it to whatever I just called it. I think Alertify box. So how would you invoke this? Well, if you go to the Alertify.js, you'll see that the functions are Alertify dot and then the name. That's what you're gonna have to put here. Alertify dot Alertify dot, and we're gonna do the same thing, confirm. And you should get the same confirm message that I got from here. Let's run this pop. S1, that thing. S2, boom, there it is. That is the Alertify.js. So congratulations, you just learned how to trigger, how to import and trigger JavaScript functions from other JavaScript libraries. But wait, there's more. This is kind of annoying to do every time, don't you think? Imagine if you have to write all this all the time, every time, whenever you want to invoke a confirm alert or whatever it is. So JavaScript has a way, not JavaScript, Blazor has a way of interacting with JavaScript globally if you feel like it, and making it much easier syntactically for you. And you do that by doing this. So the first thing we're gonna do, go here, and I'm gonna create a new folder. Not here. Create a new folder up here. Project. We'll be at the same level as pages. And we're just gonna call this JS classes. JS, I don't know, stuff. JS files. Yeah, perfect. Calling it JS files. Add in here a new item of class. This is gonna be our JS extension. That's what this is. We're extending the JS runtime in order to implement our functions that we want to create. In this case, we're going to use the Alertify. So first things first, I want you to create this this class as a static. Second, we're going to do an await. No, we're not. We're going to add a method here. Public static ace can be a value task, and this is going to be our Alertify alert. What we just did there, we're going to implement it here. And in order to do this, you're going to need the runtime again, and hopefully it will yell at me and give me this. Perfect. You'll get the call it run, and you're gonna pass in whatever parameters you want to pass in. So in this case, we just need one parameter, which is the message function. Perfect. So now what we want to do is add what we added here. Go to that Alertify box, copy that, come back here, add it in there. Everything happy. And in this case, we're not expecting a return. So we're just gonna hook, wait async. I believe you could do the same thing over there, but yeah, it doesn't matter. It worked anyway. So what did I just accomplish? Well, by doing, I'm gonna copy the Alertify box. Oh wait a minute. I did forget one. So what's gonna happen is if I try to a JS run, what my expectation would be is that when you look at the JS run, that you'll find that class in there. Here, run dot, and my class is not there. So in order for me to actually have access to this class, it needs to exist in the product either locally through importing it, or globally by adding it here. What we're gonna do, have global access to it. We're gonna go to the underscore import Blazor page, find the JS files. We're just gonna add it there. And now, whenever we have a JS runtime object, we should be able to see what we just built. Extension right there. Alertify alert. We're just gonna build a new function just for this to show there are no tricks. Alertify box. And instead of the invoke async doing all this, that JS run dot alertify alert, and then we're gonna pass in message. Time's gonna be the, we're gonna pass in our own messages. Call it JS, and we're just gonna build another box just for that. So copy paste this. Box S3. So here we go. Let's run this. See, did everything correctly. So if you don't see that JS runtime, that means that you either need to import it locally or through that the global import. Go through 1, 2, got clicked, 3. JSON extension test, perfect. And that's basically all you need to know about how to implement the JS Interops. JS Interops are pretty simple, and that's really it. But I'll teach you one more trick. So imagine if, for a moment, you had a reason to pass in a parameter into this box. You won't be able to use it, as I've shown you, this fashion. Try to do that. Let's say I try to add a string here. Message. Added the string up here. Not gonna let you. In order to get around this, you need to do the other way of creating a function. Lambda syntax. That will let you. Now, this will work and put in my whatever I wrote here. So if you ever have a need to do something like this and pass in a parameter through the actual HTML, or if you're having done something here and you want to pass it through as a function, whatever it is, then you need to actually invoke it like this. Then it'll work fine. I'll just show you real quick. One clicked, S2 clicked with the right thing, S3 test, which is what we wrote through the parameter. And that's really it. That's the end of the JS Interop. We are done. No more Blazor basics. I might do more tutorials later on, but I don't know. I haven't decided. Kidding. Yeah, I'm of course gonna do more tutorials, more complex ones. These were very simple ones if you're trying to get into Blazor. And I believe this is a very important one to understand because you will continue using JS libraries despite whether or not you like them or not. They have a lot of stuff that adds to your project, and you're probably using them right now if you're trying to learn Blazor in whatever project you have for a client. So it's very bad to just lose JavaScript as a library, as sad as it may be to say. But doing this, you won't have to run any JS code. You don't have to learn any JavaScript on your end, and you don't have to write any JavaScript. All you gotta do is make sure you understand how to use the JS interrupt, and you can still write all your code in C#. That's basically all I gotta say, and that's the end. Thank you, everybody. I'm so happy that you guys were here for my tutorials, and I'll keep creating more content for you. If you have any thoughts and opinions, maybe tell me. If you want to see something specific, then I'll be hearing you. I'm about to go. I have nothing else to really say on this. Thank you again, everybody. Like, subscribe, comment,